Hello, everyone. This is Coach Michele coming to you live from the ATL. What's up? What's up? What's up? So today's video is about surveys, right? So people are so afraid of a survey. Guys, start from the very beginning. When you get your license, actually prior to getting your license, create a sample folder. Create a sample folder for your caregiver, a sample folder for your client, and then you have something to follow. And when you start hiring individuals to work in your office and in administrative roles, you have a tool that you can use to guide them and that they can reference to ensure that they are compliant. So that's the key word here, guys. Compliant, compliant, compliant. Read your policies, read your policies, read your policies. Know your policies like you know your name, literally. Because if you're in a state, not non-regulated state, guys, if you're in a regulated state that requires an application process, most likely there's some sort of survey that's going to take place prior to, during, and or after you have been licensed, and then perhaps annually, semi-annually, whatever the case may be. It depends on your state's rules and regulations, right? So it's nothing to be afraid of. You just simply need to follow your policies and procedures, and your policies and procedures need to be created based on the rules and regulations of your state. So when they come out to do a survey, yes, you need to have a dedicated space. Some states require an office, not many. So you need to have a space where you are adhering to HIPAA, where you do not have client information exposed, where if somebody come to your house, they can see Miss Jones' medical information or her personal information. So you want to make sure you're always adhering to HIPAA and you are protecting your clients' and caregivers' information. So that's very important. So yes, you want to have a locked file cabinet. That is very important. There are specific rules. I'm not going to get into it because it varies from state to state. If you have to have an office, if you have to have a sign outside, if you have to, have a locked door, all those type of things. I'm giving you a general overview of a survey process, right? So definitely, they're going to look at your policies and procedures. That's a no-brainer, guys. Have your policies and procedures ready, already printed. You should have this, survey or not, regulated or non-regulated state. Have your policies and procedures in a 2-inch binder. Guys, if you have a 3-inch binder for policies and procedures, baby, you got too many. You do not need a 3-inch binder to operate a home care, non-skilled home care agency. Some of y'all got binders on top of binders on top of binders. Guys, it's not necessary. You want policies and procedures based on the rules and regulations and how you're going to run your business on a day-to-day basis and the forms attached to those. You don't need anything extra. So that's a nugget for somebody. You need to downsize that 3-inch binder. So, okay, the next thing, they're going to want to see all of your active client folders. They're going to want to see all of your caregivers. Some states want to see all caregivers and clients over the last 12 months. Some states want to see or surveyors want to see your discharge log. They want to see your active log. They want to see if you've had any complaints or incidences. They want to see your client. They want to make sure everything that's required for that client is in the folder, right? So it could be an agreement. Everybody should have an agreement. I don't care what state you're in. You should have a client agreement, an emergency contact form. Even if your state doesn't require it, you should have an emergency contact form. If something happens to Ms. Jones, how are you going to contact the family? Yes, if it's an emergency, you're going to call 911, but how are you going to contact the family? Very important, right? A service plan, care plan. You want to make sure that your caregiver knows what task he or she needs to be doing inside of the home. So you want to have on your agreement or a separate form how you are accepting payment, right? Are you Is the client giving you his or her method of payment and you have it on file where every time you send an invoice, you're able to automatically charge or debit via ACH their account. So you want to make sure you have that information as well. You want to have client rights and responsibilities. So the client needs to know what his or her rights are. So there's a whole plethora of forms, if you will, that should be inside of the client's folder. How much you're charging the client. So these are things that need to be, maybe I'll do a video. If you guys want to know a video or hear me talk about what should be in an agreement, I can do that. Because I started to rattle those things off and I'm like, hey, this is not about this. This is about what to expect during the survey. Just know that they're not going to do a lot of talking. If it's one person or two people, they are not, most of the time it's one. They are, unless they're doing some form of, training, on the job training. So you want to make sure that you have specific things in your agreement. And again, just jot down a comment if you would like me to do a video on that. Matter of fact, let me know what you want a video on. And, I'm back doing videos. I'm still busy, but I'm doing videos. So you want to also, have in there any specific policies or, protocols, right? So for instance, if you're providing non-medical transportation, you may want to have an indemnification form that the client signs. You may need them to sign off something saying that, their car is insured, licensed, and that the caregiver, can drive their car. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have every single thing that the state says you must have in that folder. But guess what, baby? You want to make sure you have every single thing in addition to that protects your business, because the states do not talk about transportation requirements, like the caregiver must do this. They don't say you have to check a motor vehicle record on a caregiver. But guess what? I personally do not recommend that anyone allows any employee to drive any client without checking their motor vehicle record. Suppose he has DUIs or moving violations, known for running red lights, and now you've put somebody's mom or dad, loved one, in the car with someone that's reckless. So that was a pause right there for you to think, because it's really, 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 really important. You may have, the client may have a special diet. You need to know those things. The person may have allergies. And that's why I said in a previous video, that it's so important, it's imperative to have a nurse. For me, I think it's so important because a lot of times people don't know to ask what type of medication someone's on, or if they have any allergies, because hey, I don't need a nurse. The state said I don't need a nurse. I don't need to do a comprehensive assessment. I don't need this. Guys, put something in place to protect your client, to set your caregiver up for success, and to protect your business. And for all my nurses, because 95% of my clients are nurses or nurse practitioners, you know what? You're a nurse first. So you want to protect your license as well. So that's very, very important. And then, so depending on what state you're in, there's some other things that you may want in there: a medication list, a list of their physicians, and other things that your state may require. So that's why you want to do a checklist, so you are clear on what goes in the client's folder in the home, what goes in the client's folder in the office, right? So in the home, you don't need all that stuff. In the home, you really want the service plan, medication list, and your marketing material, business card, a way to reach you. It may be the client rights and responsibilities. Now, again, your state may require more, but those are the main things. You do not want your service agreement inside of the client's folder. Then the caregiver is going to be like, oh, what? You charge $30 and you paying me $15? You charge what? You paying me $18? So because the caregiver may not be aware of all of the overhead that's associated with a business and a whole lot of other stuff, the caregiver may just simply say, hey, you're paying me $15 and you're getting $25. So it's just best not to keep that information out there in the open, even though that's just business. I'm pretty sure this jacket that I have on that I paid, I don't know how much I paid. Let's just for easy math, say I paid $50. Guess what? They probably got it from China for $2. I'm not going to go and be like, oh, well, you need to give me my money. You need to charge me $2. No, there's a whole lot that goes into it, right? That's a whole nother video. They are going to want to see the caregiver folder. Same process like the client, whatever the requirements are. So you may need an application showing 5 years of experience in some states, CPR, first aid, TB test, criminal background, may have to sign specific documents, proof that you've reached out to their references, and what the references, said about them. A copy of their credentials, and then of course they're going to have their new hire paperwork, evaluations, any type of continuing education classes or training, CEUs that they may have taken. You may be required to provide training. So you just want to, again, go through your policies and procedures that are based on the rules and regulations and have everything that you need. If you put together a system, you will not fail, right? So they may want to see, like I mentioned, if you've terminated any clients, they want to see that, AKA discharge. Why did you discharge them? Did you transfer them to another agency? Was it because of the scope of service no longer being, that the level of care that they need no longer falls within the scope of services that you offer? If you, some states want to know if you missed a visit, they want you to document it. Why didn't you go out on that particular day? Definitely on your application, it should be, or somewhere in the caregiver's folder, date of hire. When did you hire this person? Got to make sure all your paperwork lined up. You hired this person this time. You did the new hire paperwork at this time. They signed the I-9 at this time. So you need to be consistent with what goes in each folder. You need to be organized and thorough. And about your business is really important. You want to, and then of course on your service plan, you want to fill that service plan out. You want to know, who the service is for, what type of service, what tasks are being done, how those tasks are being done, when those tasks are being done. Are there any special needs attached to how they need to be, performed? Signatures. Again, the things I'm throwing out is just simply based on your policies. Okay. So that's just a quick, and breathe, because the surveyor, most of the time they don't talk to you. Sometimes now, depending on where you are, the surveyor could come out to your office and be there all day. Hello, Chicago, Illinois. They could be there all day. So it just really depends on what state you're in and what survey you get. Some surveyors, just know guys, some surveyors are going to ask for things that the other surveyor did not. You may have a friend or an accountability partner in your state and they're like, oh, you only need this and this and this. Guys, make sure you have everything because each surveyor is different. Many surveyors used to own a home care agency, so they have their way, their swag, their way of doing things, and they incorporate them into how they survey other individuals. So you got to make sure, meaning business owners. Some states are starting to ask for your revenue. How much revenue did you make? Let me see your payroll records. These are some new things that are starting to come out. Side note, some states that are non-regulated are talking about becoming regulated. Remember, a couple of years ago, California wasn't regulated. Now California's application fee is higher than any application fee for home care licensing in the United States. So things change. So with that being said, don't procrastinate. Get your business up and running now. So if you want to hear and see more videos, make sure you comment below, click the bell to subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And don't forget to like the video. So y'all take care. God bless. Y'all can learn more about me at myhomecarecoach.com. And you can follow me on social media at I am Coach Michele, and that's Michele with 1 L. Y'all take care. God bless.